She doesn't pursue you, she doesn't plead, she doesn't even talk much. Yet she occupies your thoughts rent-free. You ponder her when you rise, you seek her endorsement before each choice. And when she's absent, it feels like something within you crumbled. But here's the unsettling aspect. It's not affection, it's not a bond, it's a fixation. Carl Jung might label her an anima projection, a potent psychological illusion that doesn't mirror her true self, but who you subconsciously desire her to be. She transforms into your inspiration, your fixation, your purpose for being. And she never sought this role. This is the feminine shadow, not merely the alluring woman in the crimson gown, not just the one who shatters your heart. It's the inner woman, the unconscious feminine essence within every man. And when you haven't embraced her, she governs you. Every look she bestows seems heavenly. Every quiet moment feels like a penalty. Every praise feels like redemption. But you're not perceiving her. You're seeing the fragment of yourself that you never learned to cherish. And that is precisely why you can't cease pursuing her. In the quiet of the night, when the world is asleep, her image flickers in your mind like a candle in the dark. You wonder what she's doing, if she's thinking of you, if she feels this inexplicable pull too. You replay conversations, dissecting every word, every pause, searching for hidden meanings. You imagine scenarios where you say the right thing, do the right thing, and finally, she sees you for who you truly are. But these fantasies are just that, fantasies. They are the echoes of a deeper longing, a yearning for something that transcends, her that resides within you. You find yourself wandering through the city streets, the echoes of your footsteps blending with the distant hum of traffic. Each step feels like a journey into the depths of your own soul, a quest to understand the parts of you that remain hidden even from yourself. The neon lights flicker, casting long shadows that dance and intertwine, much like the tangled emotions within your heart. You pause at a cafe window, watching as strangers laugh and share stories, their lives seemingly untouched by the turmoil that rages within you. You envy their simplicity, their ability to find joy in the mundane. Yet you know that your journey is different, a path that requires you to confront the shadows that have long been ignored. Jung stated, "The anima is the archetype of life itself, but life, when misconstrued, turns into anguish. You were never instructed on how to manage your own feelings, so you seek someone to manage them for you. You are never permitted to be tender, exposed, or scared. So when a woman evokes those emotions in you, you term it love, but it's not love, it's reliance masquerading as affection. And here's the alarming reality. The more incomplete you are, the more influence she wields. She doesn't need to control you, you'll do it to yourself. You'll relinquish your limits, you'll alter your character, you'll make her your universe. Because deep down a boy still resides within you. A boy who never learned to nurture himself. A boy who believes love feels like yielding, like forfeiture, like distress. And so you pursue women who seem just beyond your grasp, because if they ultimately select you, perhaps you'll feel deserving. Maybe you'll finally count. But Jung would assert, you've confused the inner feminine with the external woman. You've cast your unexpressed soul onto her form. And now you're ensnared. Because once you designate her as your salvation, she possesses the key to your essence, and that, friend, is the fixation. You don't merely desire her fondness, you want her to affirm your existence, you want her to validate your sufficiency, you want her to bear the parts of you that were never noticed, never embraced, never mended. This is why she becomes a narcotic, One message can brighten your day. One dismissal can spoil your month. One separation can shatter your entire self-perception. And it's not even about her. It's about the unconscious facets of you she's provoking. The feminine shadow isn't wicked. She's not deceitful. She's not attempting to harm you. She's just recognizable. She resembles your initial desertion. She echoes your mother's quiet. She mirrors the pain you've always carried in your heart. And because of that, you romanticize her, you exalt her, you revere her, but all you're doing is evading yourself. In the depths of your soul, there's a void that you've tried to fill with her presence, but no matter how much she gives, it's never enough. Because the void isn't hers to fill, it's yours. It's the emptiness left by the parts of yourself that you've neglected, the emotions you've suppressed, the dreams you've abandoned. And until you face this void, until you embrace it and make it your own, you'll continue to seek her, to chase her, to need her. You recall the dreams you once had, the passions that once set your soul on fire. You remember the days when you believed in your own potential, when the world seemed full of possibilities. But somewhere along the way, those dreams faded, replaced by the all-consuming need to be seen, to be validated, to be loved. You realize that the void within you is not just a lack of her presence, but a lack of your own. The dreams you abandoned, the passions you neglected, the parts of yourself that you buried deep within, all contribute to the emptiness that gnaws at your soul. Carl Jung believed that the anima, when unintegrated, becomes a snare, a fantasy, a figure of longing and pain. But when confronted, when integrated, she becomes a mentor, a wellspring of inner fortitude, ingenuity, and equilibrium. But you're not there yet. You're still pursuing a spectre, still hoping she'll adore you in a manner that halts the hurt. But here's the genuine question, friend. What do you truly yearn for? Her affection or your own completeness? And if she departed tomorrow, who would you become? Imagine a life where her approval isn't the measure of your worth. Imagine a life where you are whole, where you are enough. It's not about erasing her from your thoughts, but about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you've projected onto her. It's about standing in your own truth, in your own power, and knowing that you are complete. You close your eyes and take a deep breath, feeling the weight of your own existence. You realize that the journey to wholeness is not about finding someone to complete you, but about embracing the parts of yourself that you have long ignored. It's about rediscovering the dreams that once set your soul on fire, the passions that once made you feel alive. It's about standing in your own truth, in your own power, and knowing that you are enough. Carl Jung didn't conceive the notion of the feminine. He uncovered its concealed potency, not within her, but within you. He termed it the anima, the unconscious feminine facet of a man's mind. It's not merely a concept, it's a power. Anima is sentiment, enigma, instinct, allure, turmoil, profundity, and above all, the aspects of you that society instructed you to stifle. And when a man suppresses this feminine aspect within himself, he becomes fixated on discovering it externally. That's when she becomes your fixation. You don't merely want her company, you crave her vitality because it reflects your own unexpressed reality. This is anima projection. You assign your soul's absent fragments onto another individual, often a woman who exudes gentleness, inventiveness, or peril. Not due to her identity, but due to what she ignites within you. You're captivated by her before you truly know her. You feel as though you've known her eternally. You label her your counterpart, but you're truly pursuing the fragment of yourself that you concealed. Because let's be frank, most men were never instructed to welcome emotion. They were taught to act, to vanquish, to suppress. Don't weep. Be robust. Stay unyielding. Master her. And so the anima, your emotional essence, your inner fragility, your tenderness is thrust into the subconscious. But what you suppress doesn't perish. It lingers. And then one day it emerges in the guise of a woman who appears to complete you. But Jung cautioned that wholeness is an illusion, because what you're truly doing is bestowing her with the keys to the most hallowed part of your soul. And if she departs, so does your identity. This is why heartache feels like demise. It's not merely about losing her. It's about losing the fragment of yourself you didn't know how to uphold alone. You think back to the moments when you felt most alive, most true to yourself. You remember the times when you stood tall, when you faced the world with courage and conviction. You realize that those moments were not defined by her presence, but by your own strength, your own resilience. You understand that the journey to wholeness is not about finding someone to complete you, but about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you have long ignored. Now here's where it becomes perilous. The more unaware you are of your anima, the more authority she possesses over you, because when the inner feminine is banished, the outer feminine becomes an obsession. You idealize her, you pedestal her, you serve her, you crave her, you fear her, and you commence confusing her approval with your value. She becomes a narcotic. Each instance of attention feels like a dose. Each instance of withdrawal feels like deprivation. You endure warning signs. You disregard manipulation. You forsake your truth merely to keep her near. But this isn't her fault. It's yours, because you assigned her a role she never consented to play. You requested her to become your reflection, your mother, your muse, your savior, and eventually your destroyer. This is the curse of unconscious anima projection. You create a goddess, then resent her for not being divine. You recall the times when you stood firm in your own truth, when you faced the world with courage and conviction. You remember the moments when you felt most alive, most true to yourself. You realize that those moments were not defined by her presence, but by your own strength, your own resilience. You understand that the journey to wholeness is not about finding someone to complete you, but about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you have long ignored. Jung observed this pattern everywhere, from mythology to modern relationships. The man who venerates the femme fatale. The man who forfeits everything for the cold, enigmatic woman. The man who attributes all his pain to her, never realizing it's his own soul pleading to be acknowledged. But here's the turning point. Anima isn't your adversary, she's your instructor. Every time you feel addicted to a woman's presence, she's revealing the parts of yourself you've forsaken. Every time you seek her approval, she's exposing your lack of self-trust. Every time you feel vacant without her, she's indicating the void inside you that you must fill. Because until you do, you'll keep tumbling into the same cycle. You'll keep attracting women who reflect your turmoil, who reflect your longing, who reflect your wounded feminine, because the feminine in you has not been integrated. You think back to the moments when you felt most alive, most true to yourself. You remember the times when you stood tall, when you faced the world with courage and conviction. You realized that those moments were not defined by her presence, but by your own strength, your own resilience. You understand that the journey to wholeness is not about finding someone to complete you, but about reclaiming the parts of yourself that you have long ignored. Integration is the objective, not extinguishing desire, not stifling love, but reclaiming your emotional depth. So that love becomes a choice, not a dependency. So that relationships are sacred, not sacrificial. so that she is not your narcotic, but your equal. Jung believed that when a man makes amends with his anima, he becomes whole. Not soft, not feeble, but potent in a distinct manner. He no longer needs to chase the woman he envisions because he has discovered her within. And when you accomplish that, friend, she can never possess you again because you no longer require her to be your salvation. You recall the dreams you once had, the passions that once set your soul on fire. You remember the days when you believed in your own potential, when the world seemed full of possibilities. But somewhere along the way, those dreams faded, replaced by the all-consuming need to be seen, to be validated, to be loved. You realize that the void within you is not just a lack of her presence, but a lack of your own. The dreams you abandoned, the passions you neglected, the parts of yourself that you buried deep within, all contribute to the emptiness that gnaws at your soul. It commences. You've already encountered your soul. You meet someone. She's unique, enigmatic, captivating. Something about her draws you in. Not just physically, but psychologically. You feel observed, comprehended, alive. But then something alters. You're checking your phone every few moments. You're crafting the perfect messages. You're rehearsing dialogues in your mind as if your life hinges on it. And worst of all, you're no longer present in your own being. You're revolving around her. This isn't love. It's spiritual dependency. And it has repercussions Jung attempted to caution us about. Because the more power you bestow upon your projection, the more powerless you become in reality. You cease making decisions without her voice in your mind. You doubt your instincts. You seek her validation even when she disrespects your boundaries. You exchange self-respect for the illusion of closeness, and that is the onset of self-erasure. You commence losing your masculine core, not the alpha stereotype, but your inner foundation, your ability to decline, your ability to depart, your ability to know your identity without external consent. Instead of leading your life, you become a servant to your own craving. This addiction doesn't merely harm your relationship with her, it distorts all of your relationships with friends, family, purpose, even the divine. Because now everything is filtered through her presence or absence. You can't work effectively. You can't think clearly. You can't feel joy unless she bestows it. That's the ultimate price. You outsource your soul. But what's worse, you commence attracting pain, because when you're operating from an unconscious wound, you will unconsciously select the individual who matches it. You'll be drawn to women who are inconsistent, emotionally distant, or manipulative, not because you merit it, but because that chaos feels familiar. It mirrors the emotional inconsistency you experienced growing up, the conditional love, the abandonment, the need to earn closeness. So you remain, you justify, you suffer, and every time she withdraws, you collapse. Not because she left, but because the part of you that clung to her identity had no foundation of its own.